Hey everyone, welcome to the Dad Challenge podcast. My name is Josh. Thanks for joining me this evening. We're going to be doing some talking about some craziness. Oh, jeez. Let's leave the cats alone, man. How are you doing this evening? Happy Thanksgiving, Americans. Happy effing Turkey Day. Gobble, gobble, gobble. I love it. We had ours October 9th, so ours is way earlier than yours. And so we've already gone, geez, look at the hair today. Holy smokes. I've been outside working all day, so. Yes. So, yeah, I'm doing really well. How's everybody doing tonight? I know you guys have Thanksgiving this evening. Probably won't be a ton of people in here tonight, but it's, it's not Thanksgiving for me, so whatever. I know you're not supposed to talk politics and stuff on Thanksgiving, but today we're going to talk about this case that's going on down in Waukesha and just what's going on with the mainstream media. And I've just been following it really closely because real crime is new for me. And so I'm just trying to stay up to date on everything that's going on and everything. So I just wanted to just come in and chat with you guys, have a little, little chew the fat session, and bounce around a couple ideas, some theories and some thoughts. And, I don't know. I'm pretty pissed about it, to be honest with you, because as someone who, again, last time we talked about sitting politically in the middle, I really, really, really want this to be not what it is. And the mainstream media changes its whole narrative every 2 seconds, and it really bothers me. So everybody's in a food coma, I imagine. Yeah, you can have your after turkey nap. Amanda, you've got a couple different updates. Well, first of all, the update is now it's up to 6 deaths, including 1 child, which is super, super sad, specifically right at Thanksgiving. It's just heartbreaking, right? And over 60 injured. Now, initially, when you see the video, you wonder to yourself, how did 60 people get injured in that? But then you think about the drama of the whole thing and the craziness around everybody's trying to get away and there's people getting hurt. Just insane. So the guy I'm not sure what you call that when he first shows up to court. The judge says, I wish maybe I should go through it with you guys. Maybe we should go through it. It's quite a long video, but let me just see here. It's crazy. Someone posted the entire thing of him in court. See if I could find it. And he's crying at the end. Oh, I wish I could find it. I had it before. I lost it. But basically, he's got $5 million bail. He can still get out. And yeah, arraignment. Sorry. Thanks, Tony. And so I'm surprised there is bail. I wonder if that in your justice system, you have to give bail set at some kind. And the higher the amount, the more serious it is, obviously. But we got to go through his past and some things that have been uncovered since then. Oh, can you resend me that one with the video? Because that's crazy. So, yeah, his bail's so high, and GoFundMe already had to turn off a fundraiser for this guy. Who is fundraising to get this guy to jail? Who would do that? So, I'm just, it's insane. He shouldn't have gotten bail at all. I think you have to. I'm not sure of the rules. So we knew this last time. He ran down his baby's mom. I hate saying that term, but basically is with a car. Before this is what he was in jail. This is what he was out on bail for doing. So, yeah, they set bail. So, in Wisconsin, there's a 10% bond. So if he gets out, he has to pay the whole thing, which is $500,000. I suck at math, guys. Sorry. So I just don't get it. They can deny bail. And I mean, why would a judge it's not that this is I know you have to say allegedly until he's convicted, but he did what he did. Even if you think it's an accident, still did it. So, and it's not an accident. So there's been a whole bunch of things that happened since the last time we talked. Also, we got to talk about how mainstream media is spinning this both ways. Okay. It was against crowdfunding terms of service illegal because they did that for Kyle Rittenhouse, but they've done it for Antifa and other things. So people are super pissed at GoFundMe. They're canceling GoFundMe right now. Nobody's using GoFundMe. They're using a different one. And so they had to, come and cancel this one. So I'm pretty sure GoFundMe is going to be sued by Kyle Rittenhouse, to be honest with you. So, okay. It's a 38-minute video, Basic Mom. That might be a bit long, but maybe we'll just go through the beginning of it. Oh, it's so long. Okay. Let's have a peek at it. Well, quickly before we do that. So we know that he was not running from the police. We know that. But there's been this narrative as well from a whole bunch of people that he was fleeing from a different crime, right? And I don't know why people think that that's like some kind of defense. Because if he's fleeing from doing another crime, that just means that this is a rampage. This just means that it's worse. So what they're trying to do is do everything in their power to not label this a hate crime, right? And I showed you guys that tweet last time of him talking about hurting white people. Again, reverse the roles, everything I say in this video, everybody. Reverse the roles, reverse the person, reverse the skin color, and what happens? What happens, right? Mainstream media would this guy would have been doxxed already. It would have been his whole family would have been out there. Everybody would have known everything. Mainstream media is almost not even saying his name. Rachel Maddow from MSNBC, I think, she didn't even say his name when she talked about the case. People are saying it's an SUV accident. Some people are calling it a crash. Some people are calling that the SUV did it. It's insane what's happening right now. One news outlet, yes, Left of You said that literally said he took a wrong turn. Insane. But we all watched it with our own eyes. Most of you have seen the video. He did that on purpose. Everything was on purpose. So I have no faith in either system. Like, this is insane to me. So and it's not even the justice system at this point. We all obviously know he's going to be convicted. You know, there's video proof galore. I don't know what they're going to try to do for defense. I don't know what they're going to do. He should just plead guilty and go to jail for the rest of his life, as far as I'm concerned. But sorry, I'm just a little bit discombobulated today, a bit tired. But so I get super pissed, and we'll go through. I have some of the screenshots on my phone. I should probably just send them to my my computer here. Yeah, he zigzagged to hurt more people. And again, there still could be more people that are going to die from this. There's still people that are in, critical condition. And this guy's got 6 counts of first-degree murder. So is it first? Did I get that right? Is it first-degree felony murder? Anyway, regardless of what it is, I think they're saying it's premeditated. They're going to go for each. Well, we'll watch the video a little bit here, but can you guys be with me? Those who agree, who would be a little bit left, a little bit more liberal, that's fine. But can you agree with me at least on one thing, that the mainstream media is definitely being a hypocrite in the way that they cover this case? Would those who consider themselves on the left, and I love that you guys are here, I love it, because I'm in center and I want to hear both sides. But are you guys willing to admit that they're being super, super chachi about this? Of course there's crime in Canada. So I get frustrated because you get the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, and you get CNN saying right off the top, you get the Ahmaud Arbery case, which I think was absolutely I honestly said these guys are going to jail for the rest of their life. I said that way before the jury came back. That is they should go to jail for the rest of their life. That was justice being done. That was courts being done. Kyle Rittenhouse, that was court and people, the peers on the jury. That's it. That's justice working, right? But if you think about it a second, CNN puts out the 3 white guys in the Ahmaud Arbery case go to jail, or convicted or guilty, but they won't say this guy. And I'm not saying I want them to. I'm just saying you got to see that you have to see the hypocrisy in all of it, and it's pissing me off. And maybe I'm just being woken up to this right now because I didn't see it as much before, but it's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And this is the first kind of real crime I've watched from the moment it happened. And I was watching the moment it happened, like an hour after when it started getting posted on Twitter to now. And I'm seeing that everybody's media, and this isn't the same in Canada. It's broken. It's broken. Like, it's just, I've never seen anything like this. And I can't believe that more people aren't upset. What can you do about this when the media is clearly on one side of something because they don't want to, they have a narrative they need to push. The issue here is that they have a narrative they need to push for systemic racism and everything else that's going on in the US or Canada, wherever, right? They need to push that narrative. And anything that kind of goes against that narrative, they refuse to talk about it. And what does that do? That just puts society in more danger. That doesn't help anybody. That doesn't, what is that? In what world are we in the last 3 years for all these things that have gone on in the summer riots, the BLM protests and everything else? How much better is anything right now? I would argue that everything is 10 times worse than it was. Or maybe no one just wanted to talk about it. Maybe you could argue that too, that maybe it was just buried and it was just there and nobody, and now it's all coming out. And this is part and parcel of what has to happen. But I feel like after everything that went down, mainstream media has made this worse. We are no better off. We are 10 times worse off than we were before. That's what I'm going to say. So I just wanted to get that I just wanted to get that rant out of the way. You know, your Thanksgiving dinner argument at the table with your uncle. But it's, you know what? But you can call people racist, white, Nazi, whatever you want to call them anymore. It doesn't hold any power anymore. When you call everybody the thing that's supposed to be the worst thing on earth, and it's just because they butted in front of you in line or whatever the case may be, if you call people these terms, they lose all power. And then people are like, okay, whatever. Like it just doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't. You've got people like Joe Rogan, who I consider pretty left of center, I'd consider him pretty left of center. In more recently being red pilled, Elon Musk. Okay, you've got Tim Pool. You've got all these guys who are like just pushing to the center and more. Now they're just being like, we can't live in this way anymore. So anyway, all that to say, let's talk more about Darrell Brooks. And so here, I'll bring this video up, pop it on for you guys. And so we won't watch the whole thing, but we'll skim through it a bit. But I want you guys to pay attention to something. Okay, pay attention to, and we'll skim through, okay? But pay attention to when they start reading out this guy's rap sheet, okay? That's the majority of this video. So here he comes. I got to point out something. I will be pausing this, guys, just because I want to be, this is really important to me, because what this guy did in the end, the reason I'm so upset about this is because in the end, not only did 5 people over 50 die, but now a child has died. Okay. And in the end, we have to remember that there are victims here. Okay. It's not about a narrative. I mean, it obviously is, because that's just where we are. But we also have to remember that in spite of there being 6 victims and more than that, 60 plus victims and 6 deaths, in spite of that, the media doesn't give a shit. Okay. Almost in spite of that, when they say the SCV did this, or it was a crash, or it was a parade crash, and they don't call it an attack, or they won't call it terrorism, and they won't call it a race issue. But again, reverse it, and it would completely be that. And so that's why everybody's super pissed about this. Okay. Yeah. Make sure you guys hit that like button, get this thing out, because the YouTube does not want this out there, everybody. YouTube does not put this in the algorithm. I don't get views on these videos because YouTube does not want this video out there. So hit the like button, subscribe, and it helps get it out a little bit if you're willing to. If I'm not mistaken, I don't want to get this wrong. I think the child was 8. I hope I'm right about that. But regardless, it's a child under 10 years old, and it's super sad. Okay. So, and just heartbreaking for these families. And imagine imagine you have a family. Okay. If a lot of you here have kids, okay. A lot of you, imagine this happened to you. I would never wish this on my worst enemy. Okay. Imagine this happened to you, and the mainstream media is trying to hold this guy with kids' gloves, treat him and like give him a pass, not put him in the forefront like they would Kyle Rittenhouse, not put him in the forefront like they did with the Ahmaud Arbery guys, who were guilty. Kyle Rittenhouse was not guilty. Okay. Just look at just recently in the past year, what they did with Rittenhouse and what they're doing with this guy. Okay. This guy almost rates no mentions, but Rittenhouse is mentioned 1 trillion times by these people. Okay. And this guy actually like went to murder people. Like he did it. And we like the other one was argued. You could argue either way for sure. You can. You can't argue either way with this guy, is what I'm saying. And they're just like, oh, don't say his name, make it super vague and all that shit. So I'm just super pissed. But I want to point out he's wearing a bulletproof vest because he's going to be a target. And there's a lot of comments just before you get into it, guys. I know I'm pausing a lot, but there's a lot of comments about his lawyer and how she treats him. Like she's hugging him and everything else. Like I know you have to be a defense lawyer, but it's going to be interesting to see who paid for these lawyers. And because she's like really trying to hug him and like make him feel better. This guy just killed 6 people. Watch the lawyer. I would never touch this person. If I have to stand up for him because I'm a defense lawyer, fine. Right? Everybody deserves a defense. I'll give him that. Okay. He was a BLM supporter, by the way. He was. And he was supported Nation of Islam. Yes. Very, very anti-Semitic person. So she puts her arm around him. And I'm sorry. This guy is a monster of the highest order. He don't touch anybody. Okay. He doesn't deserve to be touched. He deserves to be thrown down a well for the rest of his life. Okay. It's not, I know Janice is, and watch, it gets worse. She like hugs him and shit.
This is case number 21 CF 1848, state of Wisconsin versus Darrell Brooks.
No. Oh, it's just, does that not piss you off?
Matter is tabbed to Judge Lau. Appearance by the state, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Sue Opper and Leslie Basie, appearing for the state of Wisconsin.
Thank you. And for Mr. Brooks.
Darrell Brooks appears in person in custody with attorneys Anna Keys and Jeremy Perry. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Anna Keys and Jeremy Perry. Does anybody want to, while I'm going through this video, can you guys find out if those guys are state appointed defense attorneys? Or if you can find out where they are from? Can someone do that for me? I don't want to, not going to try to dox anybody or anything like that. I just want to see if they are, because this guy clearly can't afford a lawyer. And if these are high priced defense attorneys, I want to find out why and who is paying for that. So can someone do that while we're going through this video?
To you. And we are here on a criminal complaint that's now been filed. Mr. Perry, will Mr. Brooks acknowledge that he has received a copy of that complaint, and will he waive its reading in open court here today?
We have received copies of the criminal complaint. We waive formal reading.
Thank you. It may at some point be relevant, but the address on the complaint is accurate.
That's right.
Thank you. And Mr. Brooks, I have reviewed a copy of this criminal complaint. I will find it does state probable cause as to each of the 5 charges before you. You're charged in count 1 with first-degree intentional homicide.
First-degree intentional homicide. Okay, so that's not first-degree murder. That's different, right? But first-degree meant that it's planned. Am I correct in that assumption that when it's first-degree meaning that you were planning to do that? So they are state-appointed. So a state-appointed attorney. This is what bugs me then. Why is she being so lovey-dovey, touching him like motherly? It's so gross. This guy killed people. You can defend him without coddling him like a baby. Okay? You can. Okay, so I stand corrected. They're public defenders. It'll be interesting to see if they stay on this case, right?
That's a Class A felony, and that has a maximum possible penalty of being sentenced
80
to imprisonment for life. That's
life.
For victim A.
Yep.
Count 2, first-degree intentional homicide regarding victim B, is a Class A felony. Again, the maximum possible sentence is a sentence to imprisonment for life.
Now he goes over this, and we'll go over it, but it sounds like they do this just because it's obviously you have to do this in the court. But imagine listening to this. This guy is like, he knows he's done forever, right? So just want to point out that he deserves everything he's hearing right now, and I hope he's scared to death.
Count 3, first-degree intentional homicide.
Sorry, Marion, I didn't see that.
Victim C is again a Class A felony, and that's punishable by a sentence to imprisonment for life. Count 4, first-degree intentional homicide.
Sorry. Can, you're right. That's how it's supposed to be. But do you honestly, can you guys sit there, not saying you don't believe this, but do you think the mainstream media treated Kyle like they're treating this guy? Innocent until proven guilty? No, that guy was guilty from the get-go. Biden himself used a campaign ad that said that Kyle Rittenhouse was a white supremacist with no proof, and he's going to be sued for it, hopefully. So this is crazy.
Regarding victim D, again, is a Class A felony that's punishable by a sentence of 2 imprisonment for life. Lastly, count 5, first-degree intentional homicide regarding victim E is a Class A felony that is punishable by a sentence
No, there's not.
to imprisonment for life. As those are felonies, you're entitled to have counsel. You're entitled to have also a preliminary hearing.
Why does she have her hand around him? Ooh, just don't, gross lady. Don't do it, man. This guy is icky. Don't touch him. He doesn't deserve it. She's just too close to this guy. It's really weird to me. So, public defenders are usually private lawyers who just contracted with their courts to do public defense work, but they still get the coveted publicity. Yeah, that's right. It's true. That's right. Are they chosen at random, Lori? Does anybody know if they're chosen at random? Okay, so he's being charged with first-degree murder. They switch the terminology interchangeably to homicide. Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that. This is why I like having conversations with you guys, because this is what real crime is all about. Hashtag real crime. It's collaborative, guys. It's collaborative. It's crowdsourcing, and you guys are awesome. I love that you guys are so smart. Most of you. Oh, it's turtle suit, not bulletproof vest. I wouldn't kill him. Okay.
And I, again, have found probable cause to each of the 5 counts upon my review of the pleading. So we will turn to Attorney Opper for her bail recommendation.
Thank you, sir. As to bail recommendation, Your Honor, I'd like the court to be aware of a prior criminal history.
Okay. This is where she goes to this guy's prior criminal history. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Okay, get ready. Get ready to be angry.
Relates to Mr. Brooks. I can advise the court he has arrest record from 3 states to include Wisconsin, Nevada, and Georgia.
3 states.
Starting with the state of Wisconsin, the record begins in 2000. There was a conviction in that year for substantial battery, party to a crime. A prison sentence was imposed but stayed for 3 years probation and 6.
So, battery, prison was imposed, but then got probation instead. I don't get it. Why? How are you convicted and go to prison, but you don't go to prison? How does that even make sense? So it goes from 1999. Yeah. And just watch. It's crazy.
6 months condition time. 2002 conviction for possession of marijuana as a repeat offender, sentenced to 50 days in the House of Correction. 2003 misdemeanor conviction for resisting obstructing, sentenced to 20 days in the House of Correction. 2005, there's an arrest from Langlade County. Ultimately, he was convicted of a county ordinance violation for disorderly conduct. What's remarkable about that is that he failed to pay the fine, so he was ordered to serve 30 days in jail on the non-payment. 2009, Manitowoc County conviction.
Wait a second. Isn't Manitowoc County where like making a murderer happened? Isn't that where? What's in the water in Manitowoc? Holy.
For obstructing an officer.
Obstructing, okay.
Sentenced to 2 days jail time served. 2010 conviction from Wood County, Wisconsin. He was convicted of the offense of strangulation / suffocation.
If you ever strangle somebody and you're convicted of it, maybe you should spend the rest of your life in jail. That's as far as I'm aware, and as far as I'm concerned, that's all. You're trying to murder somebody. Okay, so
with other charges of battery and criminal damage to property dismissed and read in. The court ordered a withheld sentence for 3 years probation.
This guy strangles somebody, okay, and gets 3 years probation. What does probation do? This, when you have a record, why is your past record not taken into consideration?
That probation was revoked, and on August 1 of 2011, he was sentenced to 11 months jail. 2012, he was convicted at the same time on 2 separate files in Milwaukee County. First file was a charge for possession of marijuana as a repeat offender, sentenced to 180 days in the House of Correction.
This guy got more for weed than he did for strangling a human. What's with your justice system? Chill on the weed. Who cares? That's ridiculous. He literally spent more time in jail than all of his past combined for having weed. What the hell?
The second file, he was convicted of misdemeanor bail jumping and misdemeanor possession of THC. Also sentenced to 180 days in the House of Correction, concurrent to the other case and concurrent to each other.
This guy was sentenced twice to 180 days for weed and THC, but given $1,000 bail for striking his baby's mom with a car. What?
In May of 2012, there was a conviction for resisting obstructing. He was sentenced to 37 days jail consecutive to the earlier sentence imposed in April of that year. He's currently pending on 2 charges in Milwaukee County. 2020 CF 2550, he's charged with 2 counts, second-degree recklessly endangering safety while armed.
While armed?
1 count of felon in possession of a firearm. The date of that offense, or excuse me, all 3 offenses is July 24th.
Let's see what you got for this.
It's believed he was arrested shortly after that incident and remained in custody in the Milwaukee County Jail until released on bail there for reasons of a speedy trial violation on March 3 of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Bail at that time was lowered from $7,500 cash bail to $500 cash.
We're talking about the cash bail. You guys, there's a whole bunch of politicians in your country trying to reform this bail thing. Back that train up, please. Okay, so this guy got more time in jail for 2 counts of weed than he did for weapons charges, for having a weapon.
Bail. In that case, Your Honor, it is alleged that he got into a fight with his nephew. The defendant fired 1 round from a handgun toward the vehicle that his nephew was in.
He shot at his nephew.
The vehicle was occupied by another person, and that accounts for the 2 charges of reckless endangering safety. The next day, he was taken into custody, and the residence where he was located, he was found to have a loaded 9mm handgun just a few feet away from him.
Keep giving him bail, though.
Was
maybe this time he'll get better.
Stolen. Again, he was a convicted felon on that date, so that accounts for the 3rd charge. He's also currently pending in Milwaukee County case number 21 CF 4596. That has a date of offense of November 2, 2021. He's charged there with resisting obstructing, felony bail jumping, second-degree reckless endangering safety in a domestic violence situation,
Yep.
domestic DC,
Mm-hmm.
and domestic battery.
Mm-hmm.
The allegations in that case, Your Honor, are that he struck the mother of his child in the face with a closed fist. Then as she was walking away from him, he intentionally ran her over with his vehicle.
Did you hear what she
Vehicle
said?
in that matter described as what's believed to be the same maroon 2010 Ford Escape used in the allegations in this case.
He struck her with an open fist, battery, then she said, ran her over with his vehicle. Guys, are you listening what's going on right now? If you're not so angry, again, if this was a white guy, these things that she's reading would literally be like 1,200 things you need to know about this white dude. CNN coverage right now, right? They would tell you everything you need to know. Nobody's covering this. Nobody's covering it. And then watch.
Police went to his home and found him getting out of that Ford Escape. The defendant ignored their commands to stop, and he tried to run into the house before he was apprehended. There's a long history of flight, obstructing, bail jumping type behavior, Your Honor. It's remarkable that these are violations all
Mhm.
around the state of Wisconsin, not just his home county of Milwaukee, but we had convictions from Wood County, Manitowoc, and Langlade.
What was that? It?
I'd like the court to be aware of a record from the state of Georgia, Nevada. We'll go to Nevada first. That happened, the first conviction was from December 11th of 2006. He was found guilty at trial of a misdemeanor count for obstructing an officer.
What you guys are seeing there here in this video here on the left is he went to a guy's house. And I forgot, I should have mentioned this at the top. He went to a guy's house and was like, "Can I call an Uber? My car's broke down," or whatever he said to get in. The guy made him a sandwich. And so all the police showed up. And then he's like, "What's going on?" He went out to the porch and the police arrested him. Okay. Oh my gosh. I love Wisconsin accents. Wisconsin. But geez, this guy was allowed out of jail after breaking the law like 100 times. Let me ask you a question. Okay. If you're a piece of shit like this guy, okay, and every single time you break the law, you just don't really get anything bad happen to you. Nothing really bad happens to you. Why would you fix yourself? What incentive do you have to change your behavior when the law doesn't do shit to you? Okay, what incentive does anybody have like this guy for the records we're hearing right now to change? What is AOC and all the in the squad like Talib and Ilhan Omar and all those who are really pushing for this reform? Okay. By the way, AOC released a reform letter that's trying to get bail reform like the day after this happened. Could you imagine being the families that were involved in this, and she releases something that's like, "Yeah, no, we still want bail. We still want bail." And what for what? Do they think that these people are just going to like, "Oh, I've had a change of heart." Once they've done things like 7 times, maybe it's time to be like, "Sorry, dude, you're done." Your justice system is effed beyond recognition.
Was sentenced to jail in Nevada. Also on that same day of December 11, 2006, he pled guilty to a domestic battery as a misdemeanor, and the court there ordered a suspended sentence. On March 16th of 2007, he pled guilty to statutory sexual seduction, a felony. The court ordered a suspended sentence for 36 months probation. He was also ordered to register on the Nevada.
What does probation do? So you basically go get to live your life as you want. You just have to call a probation officer every once to check in. "Oh yeah, all good." What's probation do for anybody? Holy cow.
Sex offender registry. He is currently noted to be non-compliant with that registration requirement. On June 23rd of 2016, he was charged with a sex offender registry violation, first offense. He failed to appear in court, and a warrant remains active for his arrest. So he currently has an outstanding warrant for his arrest in the state of Nevada.
Yeah,
In
you guys
Georgia,
probation
Your
revoked.
Honor,
Let's give him probation.
The record reflects a May 27, 2021 arrest for misdemeanor battery with a designation of family violence. While it is not clear if he was convicted, he did recently remark to a court official in this county that he had served a 6-month jail sentence in Georgia. So we have not been able to verify if that was a conviction, but certainly there was a confinement in conjunction with that arrest. He has no contact with the criminal justice system in Waukesha County or the district attorney's office. He does have a outstanding paternity case that's been pending since 2003.
Oh, he's got a paternity case. Yeah. Just keeps winning. This guy's just a winner.
In which he was adjudicated as the father of a juvenile. And there's been returned court appearances over the years based on failure to pay child support. The court should know that.
Okay, I'm seeing this in the chat. What does this mean? Snitch. What does this mean? Like he's an informant for the police or something like that? that what you're saying? Like he's like on the inside of the street, so the cops just let him off and they use him as an informant. Is that what you're saying? Narc. Okay, he's a narc. He turns in names. Okay. But that's so you're saying that he gets off lighter because he does this for the police. That's if that's the case, doesn't that come out to light in trial?
A warrant or capias was issued for Mr. Brooks in this paternity case on at least 8 occasions. He has been sentenced to jail on several prior occasions for failing to pay that child support. And on one occasion, he had his Huber privileges revoked related to one of those jail sentences. That was back in 2009. Most recently, there was a warrant issued for his arrest in that non-support civil case on August 2 of 2021. Judge Maxwell signed an order for him to serve a 120-day jail sentence. Mr. Brooks did make a court appearance in that matter on November 16th of 2021, so just last week, 1 week ago. And he was released at that time because, again, he had explained to the court, provided an explanation that the reason he had not made his child support payments is because he was serving that jail sentence in Georgia. So the court released him that day and ordered him back for a court appearance in the paternity case for December. So Judge, just based on his prior record, we obviously have very significant concerns about Mr. Brooks.
It took her 13 minutes to read his priors. 13 minutes to read this guy's priors, and he is out in the world. Was out on $1,000 cash, and it's because and I think if I'm right, hopefully I'll double check it, but the guy that did that was part of the bail reform movement. So we're gonna look into that more.
Flight history and willingness to obey the orders of the court. But we have to factor in, obviously, the allegations in this case as well. And obviously, I don't need to state Mr. Brooks is facing 5 consecutive life sentences if he's convicted on all counts in this complaint. I wish to notify the court, sadly, that today we learned of another death of a child related to this case. We do expect a 6th count for first-degree intentional homicide to be issued or added, to this case. I can advise the court that I am aware, I've been made aware through investigators that there are other individuals in critical condition. I think we remarked on the number of actual injured parties in our complaint. It exceeds 60 people.
Injured 60 people, 5 dead, 6 dead, including a child. And you got CNN and MSNBC and Rachel Maddow and everybody out there being like, what's out the thing? Just think of the victims before you do anything. Every single person that was killed in this case was a victim, was innocent. And if you're going to make parallels to the Kyle Rittenhouse shit, don't do that here. Because even if you do want to do that, nope, because his victims were not innocent.
There's a number of other charges that we are reviewing and considering, but certainly at the very least, we do intend to file a 6th count of intentional homicide, maybe Friday or maybe early next week, depending on when we can accomplish that. Certainly, if we have any other deaths resulting from this incident, additional counts of homicide will be filed. We didn't charge bail jumping.
Oh, that's so
Obviously,
sad.
we could have. We have focused our efforts to date on the immediate concern, and that involves the loss of life that is alleged to have occurred through the conduct of Mr. Brooks. I want this court to know, and I think the court has read the complaint. You've indicated.
Why is she rubbing him? Ew, right? Guys, I don't like it. Why is she doing that? She needs to chill. He does not deserve any humanization here. He doesn't deserve anybody's pity. Nothing of that. Doesn't deserve his back rubbed. Suffer. You suffer, you son of a bitch.
You've read the complaint. There are not words to describe
Yeah, he's crying. Yeah. Now you're crying.
the risk that this defendant presents to our community, not only flight risk.
I don't hear LeBron, man, maybe he had lemon heads. You don't hear LeBron saying anything with this guy. Everybody's all silent now, eh? Everybody's just dead silent.
But the dangerousness that he presents, his history of violence, and the allegations in this complaint where it is stated plainly that on several occasions,
Sit up and take it like a man. You disgusting piece of trash.
he was told to stop by police officers. They risked their own safety to try and step in front of the car to stop him. Everything was done to get him to stop.
Yeah, he's crying
and
for
he just
himself.
simply continued.
He's not crying for the victims. He's crying because he knows he's done. That's it there. That's it. This guy doesn't have remorse. If he had remorse, he wouldn't have a rap sheet as long as like my Christmas tree in my living room. Okay. He doesn't have remorse. He is now done and he knows it.
Down the roadway, causing death and destruction in his path. So I am advocating for a significant cash bail, Your Honor. I'm asking for $5 million cash bail.
Oh, so
I
she
know.
asked. Okay, so the prosecutor asks for $5 million. She should have asked for $25 million. She should have just like made a precedent and said, "I'm asking for a $5 trillion bail." That's what she should ask for. Should have made a point.
That's a large amount of money, but I think it is warranted on this history. And I think it's warranted when the court considers, if convicted, Mr. Brooks will spend the rest of his life in prison.
Yes, he will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Attorney Perry.
Thank you, Commissioner. When this court determines what amount of monetary bail is reasonable and necessary to assure Mr. Brooks's appearance in court, I guess
I can't wait to hear what this guy has to say about this. I've never heard this. So does he have to make a case for, well, we don't want $5 million bail? If you're a defense attorney, I get what you have to do. Just be like, sounds good to us. That's what you should do.
today's hearing, the only thing I would add for the court's consideration is that Mr. Brooks is financially indigent, does qualify for public defender representation, and that individual circumstance must be taken into account.
This is what bail reform is pushing for. Okay. And at first, I was actually in agreement sort of with this, depending on the crime, not for a violent crime, but the idea that poor people get poorer and that cash bail only serves to help the rich, which I think you guys can all agree with, that the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. The rich have a different set of rules because what's $5 million bail for a rich person, right? It's nothing, right? And so I sort of understood that at that point. But this is the bail reform, and he's using that platform to say, hey, he's poor, so you got to put it in consideration. That's what he's saying. If you're poor, I don't care if you're poor. You killed 6 people, asshole. Stop breaking the law. Like, I get what the defense has to say, but maybe, like, I don't understand. Is it like if he doesn't say it, then he's like, hey, you have to represent him to the best of your ability? I don't know what the rules are.
Does that conclude your argument?
It does.
Yeah, he's like, oh, is that all you have to say? Okay, well, that's okay.
Thank you, sir. So, first of all, let's get to conditions of bail. The monetary portion is called bail. There are conditions, though, in bail. And first, I am going to order, sir, level 4 monitoring through WCS if you do post bail. You're not to leave.
Does anybody know what level 4 monitoring through WCS is? Is that like high level monitoring, like ankle bracelets, all that kind of stuff? Is that what that is? Who's talking with Jews in here? Get out of here with that. Whoever's doing that, who is it? I'll ban them. Who's doing it? Maybe Coco, if you can see who it is, just get rid of them, please. I'm not going to have that shit in here.
Leave the confines of the state of Wisconsin. You are only to be released on a business day during business hours. The highest ranking sheriff, deputy sheriff. I would like your opinion. I would like the sheriff's department to notify WCS if he bails out, that he's to immediately go over to WCS. So would it be asking too much if I had somebody from the sheriff's department contact during regular business hours, WCS, to let them know that he's being released? Then
I'm crying. Shut your pie hole, dude. Shut it.
I'm ordering then that the sheriff's department contact immediately upon Mr. Brooks walking out the door, if that should happen, that he's on his way to WCS, which is literally a block away. If that does not happen, I want to make sure that people are aware.
It's a good point. Wonder what AOC has to say about this guy. This is why I'm pissed about this, guys. Everybody had something to say about Ahmaud Arbery's killers, and they should go to jail for the rest of life. Everybody had something to say about Kyle Rittenhouse. As soon as it's different, that's why I'm upset. Because it's the same. It's just the same every single time. It's why I'm upset. Because she's not going to say a word about this. Same when she went down to the Mexican border in her white outfit and took pictures by the empty parking lot, that she didn't go down this time when it was 10,000 times worse. Don't even get me started on AOC. She's the worst politician on earth.
That he did not get on the GPS monitoring device, which I am ordering. I'm ordering him to pay for that as well. Again, he's only to be released on a business day during business hours, with the sheriff's department agreeing to contact WCS. If WCS does not have Mr. Brooks come in with a matter of minutes, I would like them, I'm ordering them to then contact the sheriff's department of that. I am ordering, sir, that you not operate a motor vehicle. You may not possess any dangerous weapons or firearms. You are not to have contact with the family.
Yeah, I saw the canceled GoFundMe.
In the victim identification sheet. You are to only disseminate that information to your lawyers. Those are all the conditions of bail.
So basically, if you guys are just catching up, his conditions for bail are like the highest level conditions for bail at all, which means that like he's house arrest, GPS tracked, everything else. He's making it very, 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 very difficult unless someone comes out of the woodwork to pay it. And then, anybody who pays this guy bail, they're gonna get, highly, highly hated on the internet.
Violate any condition of bail, including failing to return to court. Separate bail jumping charges could be issued against you. In reviewing 969.01 of the Wisconsin statutes and 969.001 that talk about bail and release, the statute reads that there should be reasonable conditions designated to assure his or her appearance in court, Mr. Brooks, protect members of the community from serious bodily harm. And those are the conditions that I just laid out. The bail may be imposed at or after the initial appearance. There should be a reasonable basis to believe that bail is necessary to assure appearance in court. Some of the things to be considered by the court with the conditions of bail are the number and gravity of the offenses, the potential penalty the defendant faces, whether or not the allegations are violent in nature, the prior record of the defendant, character and strength of the evidence which has been presented to the court, whether the defendant is already on bail or subject to other release conditions in other pending cases, and whether...
This is a good point. The guy sitting in a turtle shirt or whatever you call it for safety of himself. They're not like, even if that was the case, they shouldn't let this guy out anyway, because he's gonna split if he's gonna go. He's gone. So I can't believe they still said he should have said there is no bail.
Or not there's any violations of those release conditions. In reviewing the criminal complaint, the allegations are such that I read that 2 detectives opined that this was an intentional act, that the vehicle seemed to swerve into.
Don't miss that, everybody. 2 detectives opined, meaning said, thought, gave credence to the fact that this was intentional. So the fact that mainstream media is not saying anything, they're saying the SUV did it or it was a crash. No, this was straight up intentional murder. That's what this was. It is a terrorist attack on a group of people from a person who has threatened violence against white people before. Again, reverse the roles, everybody. Reverse it.
Into individuals, actually at one point trying to avoid other vehicles. That the detectives, they're listed as Detective Casey and Detective Chusoni, who again opine that the actions they observed, in their opinion, were intentional. We now have 5.
Good point. This Tattoo in Wonderland said MSM is calling this Christmas parade an accident. Yes, they have, and multiple people have called it different things. And if you go to these Twitter threads, and Twitter is just an evil, toxic place, okay? But if you go there, because where I get my news, you read the comments of these people who are on the super fringe left, and they're trying to be like, "What's it? You don't know anything." You know what I mean? These people, these are on purpose. These headlines are on purpose, and to hear people actually just like disregard the fact that 6 people were killed just to get a Twitter ratio is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. There's no way those people can sleep at night.
Attorney Opper informed us of a 6th, but that's not here before us today. 5 people that are deceased. We have a gentleman that has a huge background via multiple states. Just going through some of the Wisconsin cases, they're violent. We have substantial battery, DC, strangulation, suffocation,
Yes.
resisting. Pending cases, which the statute I just read references that I should consider: second degree, reckless endangering safety.
Yes, there's a
while
child,
armed,
8-year-old
felon
child who died.
possession of a firearm. Attorney Opper told me that the gun apparently was a stolen handgun. Those are allegations. He's out on bail on that. Also out on bail on
No,
the Milwaukee
I won't.
case ending 4596, where he's charged with second degree reckless endangering safety, disorderly conduct and battery, and resisting. And then we get into Nevada, battery.
Okay, there's no point here.
domestic-
I want to get to the point where
Then we just 2 rather significant, but it looks like there was either panic or whatever, or an intentional act for whatever reason. You don't do well under pressure.
you think
The
understatement of the century.
Milwaukee County case talks about, as Attorney Opper indicated, you using a vehicle to
Yeah, good
run
point,
over
Jennifer.
another person with your vehicle. So you don't respond well to what is common sense within our community, our society. So based on that, you're out on bail. Those smallish bails that you were out on didn't
Yeah.
do very well.
Yep.
Before I forget, there is Marcy's Law. I understand that although there are, the statute in the Constitution now defines deceased victims to allow for family members to speak. So Attorney Opper, I was told that nobody wishes to speak. We have a number of people from the families. And is that still your understanding?
I'll just confirm that, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm getting confirmation. Nobody wishes to speak to the court at this time. but
Yeah,
thank
the
you
families
for-
don't want to
You're
speak up.
right. So, ma'am,
I'm sorry.
I would ask that the victim witness individual from the DA's office see who this is without divulging who it is and
So
what
true.
relation to what victim she is.
No, he has not. There's nothing come out yet, but what he did, why he did it. MSM stands for mainstream media. Yeah, this is a bail hearing, so all the facts are for the court case. There's some downtime here.
Be taken. A sample of your DNA, sir, has not been taken. I am ordering that now. It may be expunged if you, the state of Wisconsin, as well as under the amended constitution, have the right to speak at proceedings germane to the particular proceedings that we're at. So with that, I will set bail. I have no problem with the bail being recommended by the state.
Yep.
I'm an old guy who has been doing this for almost 40 years.
This is
DA's
important.
office, criminal defense attorney, 17, 18 years as a commissioner.
He was a defense
in
attorney.
Milwaukee, and now in Waukesha. The nature of this offense is shocking.
He is like,
actually the detail I was not expecting here today, that
he's like
two
crying.
detectives, not lay people, detectives,
Yep.
Not only tried to stop this, but rendered an opinion that this was an intentional act.
Mm-hmm.
You're presumed innocent, sir, but that's what the allegations are. And I've not seen anything like this in my very long career.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be a very strong case for the state. Likelihood of incarceration, which is the other aspect of bail, is absolute. If you are found guilty of any one of these, a multitude of them,
Any one of them.
it's a life imprisonment sentence that must be meted out. So I have no problem.
Yeah,
I just with
Leah,
that
I think
bail,
you're right.
It's extraordinarily high, but it's an extraordinarily big case. It's an extraordinarily serious case with an extraordinary history of this gentleman, of fleeing, of hurting people,
Mm-hmm.
of not following court orders, not following criminal laws, not following just your societal norms. So I know that that's extraordinarily high bail. It's warranted here, and I am setting cash bail in the amount of $5 million.
That's right. That's right.
And with that, we're going to select a preliminary hearing date. Attorney Perry, time limits.
Commissioner, we would be waiving time limits. We did.
$5 million cash bail for
Is that it?
Wisconsin. And there you can see him looking straight back to the gallery where there are members of family members who are deceased from this parade as they now lead him back towards the jail.
Darrell Brooks is facing 5 consecutive life sentences with these charges,
6.
likely 6. Sue Opper did indicate the fact that she was going to be filing that 6th
Aid route
is at home
right.
recovery.
Insane. I've never seen anything like this in my life. John Hale makes a good point here. The Teflon just wore off. But can I say this for a second? Like, why are we... I say this about the family vlogging all the time. Why do they wait till the guy kills people before they put him away for the rest of his life? Why is that the end? This judge and people who set the bail at 1,000, there's no blood on their hands that should be. Why do they wait until the absolute worst thing they can possibly do happens? Because if you look at his track record, it's going to happen eventually. He ran over his baby mom. That's attempted murder. He strangled somebody. That's attempted murder. And why do they wait until the person actually does the thing and then takes a life? Or 6 in this case. It's absolutely crazy that more people don't get, like, people are upset, yes, but it's like, and then they forget about it. Man, real crime sucks ass. This stuff just sits in your brain for days. And he's a sex offender because he pimped out a 15-year-old girl. He trafficked a 15-year-old girl. That alone, rest of your life in jail, as far as I'm concerned. Why is that not more of a sentence for people who hurt children? Why is there not more of a sentence? No, the justice system doesn't, you can't reform it, guys. There's, again, I talked about this last time. It's like, It's like lifting an elephant. You know how hard it is for an elephant when a tipped over elephant, okay? That is tipped over. I don't know where I heard this somewhere. I don't know where I heard it. You know how difficult it is for an elephant to get back up, okay? This is what your system is, an elephant. And everybody wants to say, oh, it needs reform. It's need reformed for 50 to 80 years. Mine too. And it's not being reformed. But the reform that they're pushing for, the squad specifically, is the wrong way. They're trying to empty the prisons. Rashida Tlaib said this the other day, basically admitting that she wants all prisoners out of jail. What? How is that How is that reform of your justice system? Man. An overhaul. I don't know what you can do. I have no idea what you guys can do at this point. It's only going to get worse from here. Yeah, Amanda, this is what we've been talking about. The juxtaposition between how the media treats non-white criminals versus how they treat Rittenhouse is it just the idea. Again, I don't want to make this about race because I don't like that either. I'm just pointing it out because this is what's happening right now. I've never seen anything like this. It's like I feel like I'm being red-pilled right now. Okay, because it was not like this 2 weeks ago. Okay, I'm just for the first time I'm following a case from its like origins to where I'm seeing it go now, and I'm like, my eyes are like, what the F? Is this been this way the whole time? But the issue is that even the Ahmaud Arbery guys who deserve to go to jail for the rest of life, in my opinion, okay? Of course they did. But CNN, I think I have a picture here. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys just before I say anything. Do I have it? Whoa, what happened there? I do have a couple here. So basically, yeah, CNN will say 3 white men convicted on all 3 charges, and they should have been. But they won't even mention this guy's name, color, anything. So it's not like I'm saying I want them to. I want them to be fair for everything. I want it to be less biased. I want mainstream media to do exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They're tasked to be giving you the news from a non-biased perspective, and nobody does it anymore. And the people who are waking up to it are ones who are just kind of chiming in, who have a brain in their head. The ones that follow just the titles and just repeat that bullshit over and over again, like the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, like he crossed state lines with a gun and his mom drove him. They didn't know it. They still think that's the case. They still think it's the case. And those people are dumb. And the mainstream media relies on stupid people who don't listen, who don't want to know, who don't want to understand and learn. And that is the majority of the people. You guys all sitting here with me right now, all 798 of you, okay, generally are smart. You're here. We're talking about this. You are a small minority of people that like to understand the topic at hand, regardless of where you sit politically. And you can make a decision based on the information given to you. And then you say, okay, based on this information, this is how I feel about that. But for the rest of the people, they don't even care. They read a tweet or they read a headline, like this headline. See if I can show it to you guys. What is this headline? Newsweek. What is this headline? Waukesha, a deadly Christmas parade crash update. It's not even like the first thing that came out. It's an update. So they already know. Okay? Another one. Let me get it up for you. NBC News. This is not a small news organization. Video captured by a Ring camera appears to show Darrell Edward Brooks in front of a home before being arrested in connection to the Waukesha parade accident. Again, if this was a white dude who did it, it would have been a hate crime without knowing anything else. It would have been terrorism it's white supremacy. It's everything. In NBC News's opinion, and November 23rd, 2 days ago, okay, this is an accident. An accident. If you're not angry right now, people, you should be. Okay. And then this one, Washington Post, who generally I consider Washington Post probably one of the most fair, I guess, but that's probably changing now. Here's what we know so far on the sequence of events that led to the Waukesha tragedy caused by an SUV. Caused by an SUV. Tell me where I'm getting this wrong, guys. Am I wrong? No, Josh, you were wrong. This is not white or black or a racist issue. He killed people. It's wrong, period. But remember, Lindsay, we have this. Like, you can say that all you want, but again, you have to admit with me, Lindsay, that this isn't what the mainstream media does. Because if you have this right here, okay? If we have this, and we have it, okay? Start back knocking white people the F out. I don't want to hear it. The old white people too. Knock them the F out. Be honest with me, Lindsay. That's a white guy saying that about a black person. What happens in this world right now? What happens in this world right now? What happens to the narrative? That's what I'm saying. You say you don't want it to be about that. I'm just saying, I agree with you. I don't want it to be about that either. But you guys aren't playing an even playing field even in your justice system. When your mainstream media can sway things and then it riles crowds up to go burn cities down. Do you guys understand that? This is big time. The coverage is bias. It's bias. Yeah, GoFundMe Yanks page trying to raise 5 million bail. Who's raising money for this guy? I want to know who those people are. This is the point, Dame, is the mainstream media is to blame for this. And it's not just the left, it's also the right, and you know it. Don't come in here, everybody who wants to be like, yeah, it's CNN. Of course, they're the worst. But it's all levels. It's every single one of them. There is none that are innocent of this. It's when I say mainstream media, I mean Fox News, I mean CNN, I mean MSM, I mean them all. I mean them all. The smartest people talking about this type of stuff, you hardly even hear about them. Okay? And they're labeled like literally Nazis and all these people because they're just looking at it with a clear eyes. They're just like, this is common sense, people. Common sense. I'm just telling you the facts. And the people are like, no, burn them to the ground. MSM acts like they're nothing but peaceful protests, and Antifa is nothing more than an idea. And we know that's not true. We all know this isn't true. When the guy's standing outside in CNN, it's like peaceful, or was it fiery, but mostly peaceful? The whole city was on fire behind this guy. The media is telling you to not believe your eyes, and people will listen to them, and they'll repeat that bullshit to you. I'm just looking for more titles here. Yeah, I want to point out something because you guys, some of you might not even believe me. So I'm going to rewind this for you, and I'm going to play this for you. Okay? I want you to see this, guys. This is important. It's not just a one-off mistake, tweet mistake, nothing like that. Listen to this, okay, please.
One thing I do worry about, actually two things, Stephanie, is one is the idea of contagion. Whether it has anything to do with this accident last night and the killing of these people.
Accident last night. This Chachi dink. Okay, I'm sorry. They're doing that on purpose. None of that is mistaken. That is all shaped like that. MSM thrives on lying, gaslighting. And again, you guys have to agree with me. It's not just the left. It's absolutely the right too. Absolutely. Is this true, Tattoo Wonderland? He was going slow. The police officer banged on the hood and said, stop. He floored it and threw the barricade through the parade. Wow. Yeah, this is the issue too, Amanda, is that they're not even trying to attempt to hide anymore. They just because they don't need to. The dumb people are on board now. This was like almost like a mob mentality. They don't, we're already it's the roller coaster is past that point of no return. It's going down now and they don't need to. They don't need to. Politicians don't need to care about anything. People will believe whatever they want to be fed. They'll say anything and they'll repeat it and they'll stand up for anything anybody does. They'll stand up for it. Doesn't matter. As long as you are politically in their camp, doesn't matter anymore. And that's both sides, everybody. It's both sides. I think GoFundMe is going to be sued into oblivion, and I hope they do. I will never use GoFundMe as long as I live, ever again. This is interesting. Jack Pacific.
Wow.
Okay, so this is you guys want to see this quickly? It's important, I think. Okay, listen to this. So northmost parking lot in the frame. Unknown if Brooks started here, but this is the furthest lot. Video starts here. Police audio is real time. Reports of a knife fight in Frame Park, possibly at the boat launch or Rotary building. Listen to this.
To hunt by the Rotary building and the baseball diamond, there's nothing here.
How fast he's going. He's about to hit the parade route.
Do you want me to slow you down then? Can one of the squads go meet with where the subjects are that are claiming that this fight happened?
Oh, the video is 2.2 times speed. Don't forget to see that. 2.25 speed. They're showing you how far he had to go. Yes, I just said this. They're both biased. Refresh it if you can't see it.
Maroon Ford Escape just blew by White Rock and Hartwell heading into the parade road. There's a car going westbound pushing the parade course on.
So he's about to, see, this is what he did. He hits the parade route right here.
I couldn't stop it. He's going westbound going his horn.
There, that's where he goes by. See this? Look how fast he's going. This is crazy. Look how far he had to go to get there. I don't want to show that. Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that because it's very telling about motive, right? This guy is not just a mistake. He could have went 15 different streets. He could have taken a left 3 times. He could have not went that way. He did it on purpose. I've never seen anything like this. This is mind-blowing. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. People believe and people saying what they're saying, and they're making fun of people. They're saying, "Oh, it's just Wisconsin, stand your law or stand your ground law," and they don't even care. Someone said that Jack Pacific was on the right. So, are you saying that because he's on the right, he's wrong? Is that what you're saying? That's the problem, everybody. You're not willing to listen to both sides. You say, oh, well, he's on the right. So, okay, well, okay, he's got to be. There's no way he can be possibly right about anything, even if he's delivering facts. Okay? I'm sorry. If there's someone on the left that's delivering great facts too, I'm going to listen to them as well. You guys need to erase that. Take in both and make your own decision. Holy shit. That person who commented that, that's so telling about who you are. That you cannot listen to somebody because they don't align with you politically. Unbelievable. The GoFundMe was denied, yes, but I'm saying the GoFundMe was allowed for other people before the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. They're going to be sued for the Kyle Rittenhouse thing because they allowed the bails and the funds for Antifa, who were violent rioters, doing the same thing, arrested for the same types of crimes, for violence, lighting fires, and everything else, and they were allowed to raise money and GoFundMe. They're going to be sued, and rightfully so. I hope they're sued off of the internet. I feel like I'm being woken up right now, and it's really scaring me because it's actually it's almost like I don't want to know all this shit. It's almost like I don't want to be woken up to this stuff. There's another girl on life support too right now, so it could be 7 counts of murder. Hello. You can be friends with people of either side. Choose neither because both are biased and both do cause. Yeah, but what I've noticed is that people on the right will be friends with people on the left, no problem. But people on the left will not be friends with people on the right. That's got to tell you something. That's got to tell you something. Yeah, don't donate to GoFundMe's. If you want to help somebody that has a GoFundMe, just Venmo them the money, okay? Don't go through GoFundMe. They take money. Yeah, I'll turn slow tone on. See, the thing, Joe's Auto Electric, is that paying attention to facts is the issue is with social media is that we're being fed fast food headlines, right? A CNN and MSNBC and Fox, and everybody can put a headline out because they know that you're just going to read a headline. Very, very rarely will people read the entire thing. And they know that the power in a headline, okay, it's fast food news and it's bad for you. Because you're not, and if you finally get in to read it, that's when they give you the data. Even sometimes that's it's completely opposite of what the friggin' thing, the title says. But they do that because they know they can get away with it. There needs to be more rules and laws against what you can. If you lie, more people need to be sued. If you do it wrong, you should be. Journalism was never as bad as it was today. This is the worst I've ever seen it. Nah, Canada's pretty bad. If not in some cases, we're worse here. We're worse here because people don't. We live in igloos for 6 months out of the year. Okay. I know we're getting a little political, but there's a tweet here that says it's sickening how neither Biden, his wife, or Harris have shown any compassion for the Waukesha victims. Little kids fighting for their lives, yet Harris visited Jacob Blake in the hospital before the facts even came in. We're waking up, people. Where's Biden in this? Is he eating turkey with his family? Again, it's so true. They went and visited Jacob Blake, who was a criminal. Okay? A criminal. Jacob Blake's not innocent, everybody. A criminal. And we're like, we love you. And they won't even go to Waukesha. This is insane what happened there. And they just ignore it because it doesn't fit their narrative. Imagine Biden went there. Okay? Imagine he went and said, and just, this is the worst thing that ever happened. This should never, ever happen. Politically, that's good for him. Why doesn't he do it? Politically, it is good because that's a balanced leader saying this is wrong. Doesn't matter what side thinks what. This is wrong, and I'm here to support the families. That is good for him. So why would he not? He already announced no plans to visit, just like no plans to visit the border. Sorry, we're getting a little bit political. Sorry. What upsets me, again, at the end, if we have to understand, guys, that there's 60 plus victims here. Some of those were killed. And the fact that people are making this political, and I don't know if I've made this point, maybe I'm not being very good at making this point, is that it shouldn't be. But in order to fight the narrative, you have to call it the hypocrisy. In order to call the hypocrisy, it's kind of like you have to add to that narrative. It's a cyclical necessity that seems to not be going anywhere. So in the end, what is the answer? How do you fix these things? How do you even get to talk about it without being, oh, you're political now, or you're a Nazi now, or you're this, you're a white supremacist, or whatever. Where we are as a country, this, and as a world, okay, this is what we are leaving for our children. If anything, you guys hear from me ever from this channel, okay, from podcast, is I do all this stuff because I'm worried about what future is ahead for our children. The lack of privacy, the exploitation, and the things on the family vlogger side that I'm really passionate about. That is for our children too. That is for the children that are going to live lives without privacy, who are targets. And then this whole world of justice, our children, guys, in the end, children, what do we leave them? We leave them worse. Yeah, those people are like, Jacob Blade, they killed him. He's not dead. He's very much alive. Yeah, the emotional trauma they're going through is it's just crazy. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what we can do. I don't know. Turn off the news is what you can do. Get off Twitter. If enough people did it, maybe it would change. But we're hooked now. The entire world is hooked in social media. There is no removing yourself from social media. And then Meta is making it so that you will literally live your life inside of it. If you guys have never read the book, what's it called? Ready Player One. It's an amazing book. Please go read it. That's where we are headed. We are headed into Ready Player One. It is an amazing book, and read is very entertaining too. But that's where we're headed. People are going to be living stuck in and having relationships in and everything else inside of a digital world with haptic suits and everything else. If you don't think so, it's already here. It's not a Matrix like in the movie, but it's more like Ready Player One, which is called what was the name of the place? The Oasis. They call it the Oasis. Guys, please do me a favor. Don't watch the movie, read the book, or get in an Audible. It's crazy. Okay? That is where we are headed because the technology exists already. Imagine being able to put a haptic suit on, okay? I'm not even kidding. It's Black Mirror, exactly. It's Black Mirror. Imagine being able to put a haptic suit on, okay? And that haptic suit is connected to every bit of your skin. And you can live life in that world. Okay? And you can do things, adult things with other adults that you can feel. Okay? Nobody's going to leave their house. You can go to work meetings. You can literally be face to face with people in these things. With haptics, it's going to change the entire game. Yeah, I got it, Tom. I'm not going to be on for too much longer. I got to get up. Kathy is away, so I'm dadding it for like 5 days. So lunches are going to be lit. Yeah, 2 kids. My son and his girlfriend sit in the same room and they're on their phone, but they consider that spending time together. right? My wife and I, we're guilty of that too. We spend time on our phone and we're sitting in the same room. Although we do have some conversations. We try to really time to put the phone down. We have conversations. So maybe I'm a little bit better than most, but still do it, right? We're living in a place where I won't forget the water bottles. We're living in a place where we're moving into this and we cannot get away from this. So there's no reforming anything. It's only going to get worse from here. Sadly. Sorry, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. So tomorrow, maybe I'll do a video in the morning. I'll do a live packing the kids' lunch. But Weston gets hot dogs or chicken nuggets. Okay, and then you get their snacks. You get juice boxes, apple juice for Westy, grapes, strawberries, fruit bar. Everly gets cheese stick or 2, yogurt. She likes turkey bacon. She doesn't eat apples. I try to get them to eat the apples. They don't. They like Rice Krispie Squares though. So maybe this is our breather at the end. We want to just get away from the grossness for a minute. There are, I think if you think about people who think logically, I think you're seeing it happen. If you got someone said something about Deborah Messing, I did see that as well. She's like a crazy person, like leftist. And even she's like, this is done. Again, I talked about Joe Rogan. There are a lot of people being red pilled right now who are way left and now are coming to the center. I don't want people to go way right either or way left. I want people to meet in the middle. That's it. We need to meet in the middle. So then we can have an adult conversation and say, you know what, let's hear the facts. And we will then make a decision based on those facts. Could you imagine the amount of amazingness this world would be? Oh, man. So. Nah, kids can't bring peanut butter to schools in Canada. You can get arrested for that shit. What else? Oh, it's pizza day tomorrow too, so that's good. Yes, critical thinking skills, please. Yeah, I gotta get to bed too, everybody. I should do a fireside. I will do a fireside this weekend. A little bit acoustic. I would never be able to run for a political office because of the amount of people I make fun of on the internet. Would never be. Might run for school board though. If you want to change, you got to make a change in your country and in this country in Canada. Everybody run for school board. Don't worry about being a politician. Run for school board. Run for education positions. That's how they got there. That's how everything got to this level. Right from the education up. Right from the beginning, kindergarten up. That's where everything changed. They literally changed the entire scope of human nature by educating them the way they wanted to. Go run for political office at your school boards. It's really easy. You don't need a ton of money. Just do that instead. So anyway, everybody, have an amazing Thursday. And sorry about ruining your Thanksgiving, but thanks for having a conversation with me here. I really appreciate it. We will continue to watch this and we'll watch this case really closely. And Ghislaine Maxwell case is there's coming up soon. We're going to be talking about that. Lots and lots and lots to talk about. So yeah. All right, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Oh, Fathering Autism Video Tour. You guy totally called me out. So I'll see you tomorrow.